I'm making a Copycat Starbucks pumpkin cream cheese muffin, some white bean soup, and I'm also going to share with you a little bit about what's been going on in my life and a perspective shift. I'm Rebekah with Learning Together by Grace. Y'all, let's go. So I'm starting things off with this Copycat Starbucks pumpkin cream cheese muffin recipe. You guys, last year fall, I tried their muffin for the first time and it was so delicious. And so this fall, when they came back out with them, I was like, you know what? Let me try to see if I can make a copycat version of it. And I think I did a pretty good job. I know my husband was rejoicing and my children were rejoicing after they had a bite. I'm going to make sure that I put the blog link to the recipe in the description so that you guys can follow along if you want to try out this recipe. So just to give you a breakdown of it, it is 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of sugar, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, as well as 1 cup of pumpkin puree and 1/4 cup of oil. This is for the actual batter. And then for the filling, the cream cheese filling, it's 1 8-ounce block of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of honey, 1 teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. All right, so now that I have given you the recipe as I'm making this, I am just going to share with you a little bit about what has been going on in my life. So I have had some health issues, and I actually had health issues in the past. I have a tendency to get vertigo pretty bad whenever life becomes overwhelming for me. Whenever I'm stressing out, whenever I'm going through a tough time, that tends to affect me in a bad way, and vertigo is onset, which unfortunately leaves me bedridden for a while. And so the last 3 weeks have been kind of tough for me, but I kept pressing, kept trusting in the Lord, kept praying, had others to do the same as well. One thing that I am grateful for is being able to get back into the kitchen and start cooking and creating recipes. This is a place of calm and rest for me. Whenever I can just get in the kitchen and bake something or cook something, create recipes, this brings such a calmness and a joy to me that is so needed for my life. And you guys, I encourage you to find something out there that gives you that nice, calming, relaxing feeling. Even though I wasn't feeling 100% today, I decided to go on and get in the kitchen and cook. And as I was doing so, I was able to get rejuvenated in my soul, and I also found that I had energy. So I just want to share right here, I'm just creating a little well to add in all of the wet ingredients. I'm kind of doing it similar to like what you might do with making some biscuits or pancakes or something of that nature. I just figured it's so much easier to have a one bowl dish whenever you're baking. Who likes to have multiple dishes? I know I don't, although there are multiple dishes, but at least I have one less bowl. All right, you guys, so back to what I was saying. I have been having to re-evaluate my life and figure out why I am allowing things to get me distracted and to get me off course. I oftentimes carry burdens that I shouldn't carry because I have a very sensitive heart and I am very connected to God. And because of that, I often can feel what others are going through, or I may feel like I have the answer for others, and so I want to help. But in doing so, it causes me to overextend myself and overexert my energy, leaving me depleted and not able to take care of myself or my family the way that I need to. One thing that I can say during this time is that my family has definitely stepped up to the plate. My children, they have cooked several meals and they were delicious. And so the payoff has come with me teaching them how to cook food. My husband, after a long day of work, came home and he would make sure that I was taken care of. He would give me a nice heating pad, rub me down. He would give me any type of medication that I may have needed in order to feel better. And so I'm grateful in these seasons for a family. And one thing I always think about is that whenever I am okay and I'm busy doing the things that I want to do, sometimes I get a little frustrated and annoyed when I get interrupted by my children or my husband. Sometimes I just simply want to be alone. But I'm reminded that there was a season in my life when I was alone, when I didn't have a husband, when I didn't have any children, and I prayed to God for those things. I didn't have a house to take care of. I didn't have a car to drive, but now I have those things, and sometimes I take them for granted, and I just want to be left alone. But in seasons like this, whenever I go through health challenges, I find that I'm recentered and refocused on my family. There's a perspective shift for me, and I see the goodness of God in the midst of my illnesses, in the midst of laying in the bed and not really being able to move, and even in the midst of just being unbalanced. I'm able to find a steadiness and a calmness in Christ Jesus. And so I want to encourage you guys today to do the same thing. I did so much praying during that time. I always pray, but the prayers were different. They were more focused on, you know what, God, not my will, but yours. I surrender. God, I thank you for health. I thank you for strength. I thank you for your healing power over me. I thank you for my husband, God. I ask that you would cover and protect him. God, thank you for good, great, awesome children who are able to step up and help take care of me. And so that was definitely something that I was able to see during my time of being in the bed. All right, so shifting gears, I am using some parchment paper to hold my muffins in. I didn't use parchment paper for all of them, but I wanted some that were bigger, so I just cut some rectangles out of my parchment paper and just kind of folded them. And then I added about 3 scoops of the pumpkin muffin batter. And then I dolloped it with some of the cream cheese filling. I sprinkled it with some sugar, and then I had these toasted pumpkin seeds that I added on top. So here you're going to see the whole process that I went through in order to get those muffins to work out here. But anyway, back to what I was saying. One thing that I was able to do was speak to different people that have had some hardships as well. Sometimes we feel alone and we feel like we are the only ones that are going through a hard time. A lot of times I feel like I should be invincible. I should never have any health issues. God, I try to eat healthy. I cook most of our food from scratch. We rarely go out to eat. And if we do go out to eat, we're very conscious about how we're eating. So my body should be able to handle this. My body should be able to handle the extra stress. But then I remember that I'm not having my eyes set on Jesus and what he has called me to do, because I'm taking on others' burdens instead of taking on his yoke, because his word says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. But yet, here I am taking on others' burdens, taking on things that I never should have. And because of that, I'm suffering. So you guys, I'm taking the muffins out of the oven. I heated the oven to 375 degrees and I baked them for 25 minutes. Just an FYI, the aroma was beautiful, you guys.
Amazing.
Oh, this watermelon smells delicious. I'm hoping it is.
The beans smell amazing.
It smells yummy. I hope it tastes yummy. So this watermelon was picked from my garden, you guys, and it was so amazing. Gardening has become one of those places of rest and calm and serenity for me. So that's what the watermelon looks like, you guys. And these are the muffins. Y'all, these came out so divine. As you can see by my husband and daughter's reaction. And later on when my son tasted them, he was feeling them too. But I'm going to make sure I put the link in the description so that you can follow along with this recipe. Next up, we're doing a white bean soup. And I like to use filtered water out of a Berkey. Y'all, the store-bought water tastes different now. It doesn't taste the same. It doesn't taste as nice. But anyway, these are the ingredients. I have Great Northern beans. I have spinach, 1 onion, 2 cloves of garlic, 2 carrot sticks, 2 celery sticks, 4 potatoes, as well as a ham bone. I have frozen bone broth, paprika, chili powder, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, pepper, and salt. So I am using my Instant Pot to create this meal. One pot wonder, you guys, and oh my gosh, it was, yes, beautiful. So I'm adding in all of those seasonings. I don't quite have a recipe that I'm following. I literally am just going by feel. So back to my situation with my perspective shift and with my health issues. I am definitely doing a lot better. I am trying to be more intentional about taking breaks and even taking naps. I'm not a nap person, but this is a season of my life where I have to do that. I keep thinking to myself as I am aging, I have to think about the future. What am I going to do if I don't take care of myself now? The future is not going to look so great for me. And so I'm approaching 43 at the end of this year, and I want to be here for my children. I want to make sure that I am available for their grandchildren, my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. So it's very important to me. So right here, I am setting my Instant Pot on slow cook, and I'm setting it for 8 hours. I'm doing the beans as well as the ham bones together first with water. Now I'm just going in and chopping up all of those vegetables, and I'm going to add that to my Instant Pot. But back to what I was saying, I want you guys to really take stock in your life. Look at the areas where you are taking things on that you are not supposed to take on. What areas in your life feel overwhelming, and how can you change them? I know that before I got sick, I was telling my husband, I was like, something has got to change. Like, I just feel like we need to do things differently. Our circumstances haven't necessarily changed. We still have very hard and pressing issues that we're dealing with, but we are trying to have a perspective shift in all areas of our life. And one thing that I am trying to do is be more grateful for my house. Y'all, there's so much stuff that needs to be done to this house. And unfortunately, we have just been in financial situations that we don't care for. So it's been hard to get ourselves together to update our house. I just want to make mention that I am adding bone broth to my Instant Pot right now. I did add water earlier on, but bone broth is very nutritious. You guys do research so that you know what I'm talking about. I always try to add bone broth in whenever I can. And I'm just going based off of feel, you guys, and the way things look. Again, I don't have recipes for the most part when I'm cooking. And so it can be very hard for me to tell you how much of what I put in there. Over time, this is how you will cook once you get comfortable with measurements and once you get comfortable with just cooking. So now I'm just taking my masher and I'm just mashing up some of those beans and potatoes so that it can be more soup-like. Back to what I was saying, you guys, start really pondering over your life. What areas do you need to change? I'm starting to look at my house differently and appreciating my space. That's one thing about my house. We have great spaces in our house. We can all spread out in different areas and just, feel like we're in our own little world when we need to. So I want you guys to be mindful of the beauty that you have around you and don't allow other situations to put you down either. You guys, this is the finished result. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share if you have not already. Hit that notification bell so that you know when I post again. And you guys, I thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope I encouraged you today. God bless you. Bye.